What's up? I'm back. This segment, I'm going to introduce an character called Justice. Some people call him, aka the Crow Man. I guess you can look at it as Om's version of Batman, in a sense. He basically is a Brazilian of European descent, of Portuguese descent, billionaire. Who's from, obviously he's Brazilian. He's from Brazil. His family's been in Brazil since the beginning of Portuguese colonizing Brazil, and it's interesting because his family have, obviously they made a lot of money on the slave trade. They even supported the Nazis in World War II. And in general, his father saw some of this stuff and really didn't like it, if that makes any sense. And he looked at it as he wanted to take his family in a different direction. And, well, Justice's real name is Ronaldo Alamo, right? So the Alamo family. And his father tried to take it in a different direction. His grandfather, who's running the show at this point, saw that and killed his father and killed his mother, basically. So the father of Justice, or Ronaldo Alamo, his grandfather killed his own parents. And then he killed his parents, and he had to raise up Ronaldo or Justice as his own son. Well, obviously he knew Justice would know that's not his father, but he had to raise him because there was no one left. And when his grandfather killed his own son and his wife, he was enraged that his son was going to do it. But what really made him think was that he has no more heirs, and his lineage was about to die. Where this family has been in power for 300 years. So, in a sense, there's a lineage, and he became a good father to Justice. I mean, he did. He had the best schools. Whatever Justice wanted to do, Justice was very distraught of his parents dying, so he did whatever Justice wanted. Justice wanted to learn martial arts, and he did it. He made him train with the best masters that money could pay for. And eventually, Justice finds out that his grandfather killed his parents, and this made him very vicious. And he killed his grandfather brutally. Right, that was the first murder he ever did. And when he killed his grandfather brutally, he started to see that there's injustice going on all over the world, and people don't have the power to stop it. So he looked at his billions and his martial arts and even mystical training. He's trained in a lot of magical arts. And in the Om universe, we have seedlings and reformers and what will be equivalent to mutants in some worlds, some universes. And he sees the superheroes in the Om universe are the ones running the show. They're the ones who are very powerful. So it's like having politicians with superpowers. So he uses his billions to become the anti-hero. Remember, in the Om universe, the superheroes are bad guys. So when I say anti-hero, it doesn't mean anti-bad guy. It doesn't mean bad guy, I'm sorry, but it just means that the anti-hero in the way the Om universe is set up, where the heroes actually are on the government and run all the visible elites. So he ends up becoming something totally different, and he took, whereas Batman might have just did it with fighting skills, Justice, aka the Man of Crows, he does it with martial arts, but an intense as well knowledge of certain magical arts, where he doesn't do magic per se. He's not a magician, but he has learned the magical arts in such a way that magic is now, he's immune to most forms of magic. If you're like Dr. Lipton or the higher magicians in the Om universe, you could still affect them, yes. But when it comes to magic, on a regular level, very hard to deal with him. When it comes to telepaths they don't have that much effect on him either. So he's a very hard character to really engage, even if you have superpowers. And what he does is, because in the Om universe, a lot of the heroes lose their powers amongst, like if they're fighting regular people, like regular, humans, they lose their power, either gets destroyed, gets diminished, or they lose it completely, as long as that human's in their space and they have to engage that human. So Justice now takes all the I'm saying superheroes, but all the good guys in Om, right? Because we have a lot of characters that deal with the streets, right? So he takes a lot of the street characters in Om and forms like a conglomerate, where he sits at the table, and they tell him about the everyday stuff that's going on in the streets. And he's in Brazil, so this conglomerate is worldwide, America included. So he's a very vicious character. He's a bloody character. He believes in the fact, and he believes in a sense in torture and psychology, and the fact that the good people in the world, they still are too soft on the bad people in the world. So where in Image comics back in the day, Shadowhawk would kill you. No, he would break your back, right? Batman, this would be Batman, Spider-Man. Well, Batman would be a little more vicious than Spider-Man, but they'll fight crime. Justice is type of person, kind of like more like the Punisher. If he's gonna engage a criminal, the criminal's probably gonna die, but he's not gonna just do it the way the Punisher did it, shoot you in the head and stuff like that. He's gonna torture you. He's gonna, cut your stomach open and throw it over a balcony and see everyone see your intestines hanging out. It's that he's that type of character, very vicious, and for that viciousness, a lot of my first book dealing with justice is gonna deal out with the gangs and his stuff in the streets and him fighting corporations as well because he's rich. So he builds a network an own private network, kind of like how you see the CIA now, and they have all these private contractors, and you have these corporations who have capabilities like the CIA. Not close, not yet, but we get into that point where the NSA rents out, corporations to do their dirty work. So he has like a corporation, or I should say a network that can rival the CIA itself. So he's a very, in a sense, a lot of times more expanded than Batman from DC would be, where think of it like how the Kingpin control all the streets in the Marvel universe. He controls the streets, like all the vigilantes he's fighting in the Marvel in the AUM universe, right? They report to justice or his affiliates. Why? Because he understands he has a higher war that he's fighting, and in a sense, a lot of the superpowered people in the AUM universe, their power is diminishing when they get in the presence or they have to engage a human. Justice plays to that because he controls the resistance in the AUM universe, and if he has to engage a hero, he's gonna make sure, or a good guy, a good seedling, or a good reformer, he's gonna make sure, and that individual, that good guy for us, will have a regular human they have to deal with. They get depowered. Justice comes in and strikes. Once he comes in and strikes, you lose your power. He might kill you. In fact, he probably would. Very vicious character, one of my favorite characters, and I look forward to introducing him more. He's probably one of the first characters, one of the first comic-like characters that I'm going to do short stories for, because most short stories I'm doing right now is really more occult, the horror or the espionage. Justice kind of styles, espionage meets comics meets psychology. He gets a Justice comics or Justice graphic novels for AUM or short stories will do a lot with psychology and understanding the darkness in the human mind. So I look forward to that. I hope you give him the respect that he deserves. He's probably one of my favorite characters that I created. Till next time, peace.